guys. Yeah, welcome to another guest of the day segment. Our good friend Kevin Utarid joining us once again from Nasdaq Canada.
Thank you.
Happy to see you as always. Going to be a little bit different this time, guys. We have two special guests today. We're going to bring in Andrew Oppenheimer from Nasdaq US joining us on Zoom this morning as well. There's Andrew. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'll throw it to you. First off, we're going to talk about the Midpoint extended life order from Nasdaq. It's been in the U.S. for quite some time now, coming up to Canada. Maybe you can shed some light on the M-ELO order type for us.
Yeah, thanks. M-ELO is a non-display order type that must wait 1/2 second prior to being eligible to trade. It executes at the midpoint of the MBBO and only against other M-ELOs in its true original form. We've been live for just over 20 months now. We do execute about 15 million shares a day, so we're really excited about that number. Our customers, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. And when we look at internal data and actually have seen some customers put out reports on their execution quality, it's just overwhelmingly positive.
Fantastic. Maybe we can touch a little bit on who is using the order type, why maybe they're using the order type, and where maybe you're seeing the most order flow coming from.
Yeah, sure. So when we developed M-ELO, we wanted to match like-minded investors, and it's not that it just segments one constituency over the other. It's just who has this, whose urgency and need for liquidity is not the utmost importance, but rather the execution quality. So whether you're a long-only fund, a proprietary fund, it's just a matter of finding high-quality liquidity. So the demographic consists of proprietary firms, sell-side agency brokers representing long-only firms, and quantitative shops. So it's really, the environment and the ecosystem is well represented.
Fantastic. We have some visuals here to kind of help you out as far as data points go. We'll jump into the first slide here, talking about quote stability by time horizon and also quote stability on the execution side, Andrew.
Sure. So these quote stability is one of those metrics that we use to validate the performance of M-ELO and how well it's doing. What it does is it measures the percentage of time the quote remains the same after an execution. So if you look at it across those different time horizons, you can see M-ELO is better than almost all the other venues, actually all of the other venues, that's maker-taker venues, off-exchange. And so executions at the midpoint, M-ELO remains, its performance remains high. And it's actually been that way for those entire 20 months. So it's been static, and we're really excited about that. If you look at the by order size, you can see the greater the order size, the more that quote remains stable. So that's something we're truly thrilled with. I watched a earlier segment with Kevin talking about CXD and inverted exchanges, and then I think you mentioned the need for getting some chunky liquidity. So if you're looking for some block liquidity, M-ELO is a great place to go for a high quality trade.
Fantastic. Do we want to maybe talk about some mechanics here? Maybe talk to a little bit how the order type works, how the matching engine works, and where the liquidity is coming from.
Yeah, so M-ELO is its own order type. And that's one of the things when we developed. We didn't want to fragment the marketplace any further, right? The U.S. market's one of the criticisms of the U.S. market. It's highly fragmented. There are 13 exchanges, 30 plus off-exchange venues. So when we created M-ELO, we said, let's keep it on the Nasdaq exchange, the largest exchange by market share, and just create an order type. So it was really simple. You enter the order. It waits 1/2 second, just being eligible to trade. The other side is also a M-ELO order, and that also must wait 1/2 second. And if they match at the MBBO, the midpoint of the MBBO, the trade happens, it goes to the tape, and it looks like any other midpoint trade. So there's no information leakage there. So it was one of the things that we were really conscious of about developing the order type. We have put in some new enhancements. We've actually allowed for odd lots to interact in M-ELO and be entered and traded. One of the reasons we did that was, as stock prices continue to go higher, an institutional trade is not just 100 shares or greater, it's it's a notional value, right? So 15 shares of a stock that trades over $1,000 is truly an institutional size. So we wanted the institutions to be represented in M-ELO and get those high quality trades that we see.
Great stuff. Andrew Oppenheimer joining us from Nasdaq in the U.S. The exciting part of the news that we're going to talk about today is that this order type is going to be coming up to Canada. Going to bring in Kevin Utarid here in a second, but first let's jump over to the desk. Sean has a question.
Yes, one quick question here, Andrew. Thank you for coming on the show as I turn the mic back on. Okay. Who is on, I don't know if you can say this, but is it a lot of institutional orders on the other side of the M-ELO? Is there a lot of retail using that order type? Can we be guaranteed that there's going to be a lot of liquidity on some of these more popular names?
Yeah, so again, we're doing 15 million shares a day. We actually hit a high mark of 25.5 million shares multiple times throughout the course of this year. So we're really thrilled with that. And yeah, institutions love this order, right? So they can, we've seen it utilized in VWAP, TWAP, implementation shortfall. Implementation shortfall orders, algos. So, as institutions and algo providers saw the value and the performance of M-ELO, they began to incorporate it in more and more of their strategies. It really started off in their dark aggregators and their dark routes, but over the 20 months, they have come to us and said, yeah, we put it in this VWAP algo, we put it in TWAP because it's a great order type when you don't have that immediate need for liquidity, but that need for that high quality trade.
Andrew, great. Thanks for clarifying that. And I think I'm going to definitely be using that order to look for some liquidity on some of these high-profile names. Thanks, Andrew.
Excellent. We'd love to hear that.
Great stuff. Andrew Oppenheimer joining us from Nasdaq US. We'll keep you on the line for a few minutes here, Andrew. While we shift gears, we'll bring in Kevin Utarid here and talk about the Canadian implementation of this order type coming up in November.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for having me. So yeah, we're excited. Next week on the 22nd of November, we're going to be introducing the M-ELO order type in Canada.
Great stuff.
On the Nasdaq CXC book at a price of free. So
always a great price. $3 traders love that price.
So Andrew hit it out of the park. So there's not much more I can add in speaking about the mechanics and the use case for M-ELO. In Canada, one difference is how retail orders are handled in general. So in Canada, there are high-touch retail traders that we're all aware of that can move more than an institutional trader on a typical day.
Yeah.
We are socializing this order type with high-touch retail in Canada because we've learned their behavior, how they trade. They go to the dark markets for certain things. They go to inverted markets for certain things. We are socializing M-ELO as another tool in their chest that they can work a high-touch, large-size order non-display on our CXC book and get executed at a fair price.
Great stuff.
Right, so that's the main difference in Canada. We are really pushing it on the retail community, as well as involving the ecosystem that our U.S. counterparts have developed over the course of the last 2 years almost.
And it's the 22nd, you said?
Yes, sir.
The first
on the 22nd.
So, yeah, M-ELO in Canada coming up on the 22nd. You brought a little display chart here for us as well, so we can have a look at how things are going to work here in Canada.
Sure. And this is similar to how it works in the U.S. as well. So this is all available on our website, and I can send you guys a link you could plug maybe when you post this.
Absolutely.
So essentially, this infographic just displays the mechanics and the workflow of an M-ELO trade. So if you look at the first phase, you have a bid offer on a stock 10.01. Your mid is 10.5. Right. Now that 10.5 mid comes in as an M-ELO order. The second phase of this infograph shows that a sell IOC comes in, which sweeps all the markets, sweeps the bids, actually takes out that bid at $10. The third phase of this means that the M-ELO price now gets repriced. We'll reprice it automatically within your limit. So now your new midpoint is 9.995.
Right.
The next phase of that infographic just shows at this time a sell M-ELO order comes in. That'll wait half a second and then execute against that 9.995 M-ELO order in the book.
So the important point here, guys, you're not actually repricing, physically going in and repricing it automatically.
We're adjusting it to the NBBO conditions based on what's going on in the market. And like Andrew said, this order type will only interact with another M-ELO order type. So if a marketable midpoint comes into the book to sweep, it will not trade against the M-ELO order.
Great stuff.
Unless it's tagged M-ELO.
Great stuff. Coming up on November 22nd, guys. Make sure you have that order keyed up and ready to go on November 22nd if you're trading the Canadian markets. M-ELO obviously available to us at this point if you're on the P-Pro 8 platform down in the U.S. Already. Andrew Oppenheimer from Nasdaq U.S., thank you for your time today. Great information. We'll speak to you again soon, hopefully.
Great. Thank you.
And we'll wrap it up at that. Great stuff, Kevin. As always, hopefully we'll get you back in the chair here soon. We'll talk some more.
Talk some stocks.
Yeah, CXD Canada,
All right.
CX2.
Sounds good.
Always
Love
a
it.
pleasure. We'll send it back over to the guys at the desk.